It's kind of unprecedented times in that pretty much if you think about sort of both regionally, nationally, globally, live performance, at least as we had known it, is not really happening at this moment. For someone who has sort of dedicated their life and their career to the creation of live performance, that's kind of a strange moment to be living in. But theater tends to find a way, and through many different kinds of virtual platforms using such sites as Zoom and those kinds of things, there has been a number of digital performances that have popped up of artists creating through those mediums. You also have a number of theater companies that have made their past performances that have been documented in some sort of way available through streaming services and things like that. But as a whole, it's affected the performance community in sort of really profound ways. The theater community is a great, generous community, and across the nation, costume shops have been creating masks as well as gowns. Scene shops have been sort of used to create sort of ventilators and other kinds of equipment that has been useful within hospital settings. So the theater community tends to rally. I think another way in which they have really responded is through the use of their sort of platforms. So not just simply within theater, but in sort of performers writ large, both film as well. They've become really sort of interesting and useful voices for educating people about the pandemic. So, I think it's no sort of mistake that one of the initial sort of biggest moments in terms of getting the word out about the pandemic came from Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, who really sort of stepped forward through social media and used their platform as sort of these well-known performers to educate people about the realities of this crisis. The arts have always found a way. I mean, particularly in my own particular instance, live theater has been around since pretty much the beginning of humanity. And that sort of desire to tell stories and that desire to kind of document sort of history as well as to look towards the future, I think, is an impulse that is part of who we are as humans. So theater will survive. I think what is fascinating to me about it is that I think this is going to be a moment where people are going to be really longing for live performance and longing to be in spaces where they can be sort of in physical proximity with one another again. And I think live performance has a particularly unique role to play in that kind of rollout once we do maybe get back to a kind of normal or a new normal in terms of helping us to process and make sense of what we've been going through for the past, few months.